Got it. I'm gonna.
Okay, good morning. This is a meeting of the Wellfleet Housing Authority. It's being conducted over Zoom and it is being recorded, and we have a quorum. Richard, I wasn't sure we would see you today. Thank you for making the time to be here. And thank you to Harry for getting the meeting started for us. Okay. We're going to start with Richard's excellent minutes as always. Okay, let's see. Are people seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know my name is spelled wrong. Richard.
Yes.
And Sarah, I wanted to check with you how you want your name to be.
So I think legally, I mean, I always go by Sarah Pachukas, but Sarah Pachukas Slivka is, I think, still on official like government documents and stuff. So that sounds good. I think
Okay.
we're good.
All right. Okay, so if everybody has had a chance to read them, Richard sent them well ahead of time.
Richard, one correction or change. It should be approximately before 185,000 on item 7, or I can give you the actual number, which is $186,034, 186,034.
Got it, Gary. Thank you.
Sure thing.
Okay, is there anybody else trying to get in? Hold on a minute. I hear some voices. Let's see. Okay. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Second, any more discussion? All in favor? I'll call the names. Gary,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Richard,
Aye.
Elaine.
Yes.
Elaine, aye. Okay, all in favor. 4-0. Thank you. Stop sharing. All right. Is anybody waiting to get in? Okay. All right. Next on the agenda, no change in rental assistance, right, Richard?
No.
Okay. Gary, have any bills?
Yes, I have several. I would seek to approve payment to the Homeless Prevention Council for August rentals in the amount of $1,865, 1865. This is repayment for the August rental assistance.
Okay. I would move to pay the Homeless Prevention Council $1,865 for August rental assistance. Is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Gary,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. 4-0.
I have 2 bills to submit for the Community Development Partnership, CDP. One for June in the amount of $1,312.50, 1312.50.
Is there a motion to approve?
Well,
For
I
what,
tried to do both
Gary?
of them at once.
Gary, please, for what purpose is that for June?
That is the technical services.
Thanks.
Do you want to do them separately, Elaine?
Yeah,
Okay.
please. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the June payment?
So- So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Gary,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. 4-0 approved.
I received an invoice for the Community Development Partnership, CDP, in the amount of $1,425, 1425, for July technical assistance.
Okay, I'll move $1,425 to the Community Development Partnership for technical assistance, housing specialist services for July. Is there a second?
Second,
Any more discussion? All in favor? Gary,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
aye.
Elaine, aye. 4-0. Great. Okay, I had the down payment reimbursement on our agenda, but I did go back and we did authorize the $4,200 for that at our March meeting. It took a while for the CDP to get the loan agreement prepared. But that's all done now, and Gary is in the process of trying to get it through the accounting department, right?
We have submitted the invoice for payment.
Okay. Under down payment, well, actually, this might come up late. It falls under what the CDP is doing for us. And Andrea contacted me and asked if we would mind if they did the payment for the next buy down as an hourly as opposed to a set fee, because their recent experience was the one with one of the homeowners is taking lots and lots of time. And the most recent one we did was simple and hardly took any time at all. So they felt that if they could bill us hourly, sort of, but submit it as a separate thing, under that, they would like to be able to do that. I don't know if anybody has any comments, pro or con, about that.
Elaine, say that just one more time.
Well,
This
in the past, we've had like a set fee for administering the buy down,
right.
but they felt like each one is so different that
Okay.
they would like to do it, and it would work better for them to just bill on an hourly basis, or
Got it.
similar the way they're billing us for their other housing specialist services. Gary?
I'd only suggest that we put a not to exceed figure on there. If it's
Mhm.
really hourly and it turns out to be a very difficult one,
Yeah,
we wouldn't want to spend many thousands of dollars
okay.
on that. So what I can't recall even what they charge us now, Elaine.
I'll have to go back. I think it was somewhere between $2,500 and $4,000, but we'll go back and see.
This is for the cost of the administration exclusive. We have 180. Did we approve 185,000 at town meeting, Elaine?
Yes,
Yes. So we have 175,000 for the grant. How much does the advertising cost now?
we don't remember.
Yeah. So, are there any other expenses related to it?
Maybe I should ask them for sort of an accounting.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. So then we could come back into what a not to exceed figure would be.
Right, yeah. Yeah, they can sort of give us a rundown of the different costs.
Or suggest to them we'd like to see a maximum.
Okay. All right, great. All right, I put recommendations on town meeting warrant articles next. We haven't been asked for recommendations, but I don't think it would hurt for the housing authority to make recommendations and send them in. I can call up we voted on a bunch of them at the trust meeting the other night. So I can call up the warrant. And unless, have you looked at the warrant, everybody, by any means? Any chance?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, the first one is Article 6, I believe, if that's one we want to vote on. Article 6 is the acquisition of Maurice's campground. The summary. So this is the article to approve the 6.5 million purchase of Maurice's Campground.
I would so move, I would move that the Housing Authority recommend Article 6 on the town warrant, the acquisition of Maurice's Campground.
Is there a second? Sarah?
Set,
Any more discussion on this one? All in favor, Gary,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
aye.
Elaine, I. 4-0. Article 7 is the CPA borrowing to help meet the cost and reduce the amount to the taxpayer a bit. Gary, you said this will probably be amended at town meeting.
It's my understanding that both the amount of the appraisal will change and possibly the amount of the grant.
Mhm. But it won't be more than 1 million.
Correct, it won't be more than.
Okay, all right. And for those of you, Gary and the CPC committee have done a lot of work working on getting to this possibility to use CPA funds to help with the purchase. The CPA group, they're meeting again, right?
Next week.
Next week. But I feel like we definitely want to support everything the town wants to do to help with this. So I would move that we recommend Article 7 as for the CPA contribution and the housing restriction that will be put on the 3 acres of land that will be basically purchased, identified with the CPA funding. Is there a second?
Second.
Questions? All right, all in favor? Gary,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Elaine, I. Thank you. The next article is this is appropriating $225,000 to account for the potential operating costs for the first year, right, Gary?
Yes, what only makes this tricky is that although there will be receipts to cover this cost, the money coming in for the campground rentals cannot be appropriated for use until next town meeting. So this is essentially a bridge borrowing of $225,000 against anticipated expenses and will be offset in the Springtown meeting by the receipts, which can then be used.
Anybody have any other questions on this one? Okay, so a motion to recommend Article 8.
So moved.
I'll second. Any more discussion? All in favor, Gary,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. How you doing with all this, Richard?
I'm doing okay. Obviously, I'm out here and I don't have any of the, the paperwork with me. So we'll cobble something together and then I can clean it up when I get home.
Sure, yeah. Do you want me to send you this draft warrant? You're on vacation, forget it.
Well, no, We'll communicate. We'll figure it
Okay.
out. Let me
Alrighty.
see what kind of a mess I wind up with here.
All right. How are things out there?
Hot, but
Hot.
beautiful.
Mhm. Okay, then we go ahead to Article 16, which is the cottage colony bylaw. This makes me dizzy when I do this. I don't know about you. Ooh, I'll have to read about that. Feeding of wildlife. I haven't read that one. Okay, this is a zoning bylaw amendment for the cottage colony bylaw. That is going to allow for year-round the potential for year-round use. This is one that Ryan Curley brought forward. I know we've talked about it a little bit in the past. Does anybody have any comments they want to make on this one? We just had a young friend buy one of the deck 2 cottages, and she is hoping, very much hoping this gets this gets approved, so she doesn't have to move back in with her mom for the summer or for the winter, whenever you can't use them. Anyway, I think this is a great idea. I know one of Brownie's just sold. Sarah, as our expert on all this, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I think we've talked about it before. I think anything we can do to support housing and create more affordable housing is great. My one concern about it, and I don't think we'll know until it happens, is whether the values on these cottages rise after they're approved for year round, and then make it harder for year round people to purchase them. That's my one fear, but
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I think so too. Okay, could we have a motion to recommend Article 16, the cottage colony bylaw amendment? I'll vote to recommend Article 16. Is there a second?
Second, Elaine.
Okay. All in favor? Gary,
Aye.
Richard, Sarah.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
Sarah,
Mhm.
Elaine, aye.
Excuse me,
4-0.
one second.
Article 17, we had some questions about what it actually does at the trust meeting, but my understanding, I mean, we've had this affordable dwelling bylaw that the planning board maybe put forward about 10 years ago to encourage, if you have 50,000 square feet or more, you can get a density bonus by putting 25% affordable housing on it. And my understanding that this is cleaning up the language. That is all I know about it. It's by special permit to be used allowed by right as followed. It has something to do with the definitions, but I'm really sorry. I don't have a much more coherent explanation of it, but I don't think there's any reason to vote against it. Unless you'd like to, but I will recommend Article 17. Is there a second? If there's not, we won't recommend it.
I will second. Yep.
Okay. All in favor, Gary?
I'm going to abstain.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand it, and
There's-
I'm
Yeah.
cautious about recommending it if we don't understand the implications.
Did they have the hearing? They're having a hearing on all these bylaw. You know when that is, Harry? The hearing?
Dwelling is spelled wrong on the top. I mean,
That's how it is.
I would imagine somebody is.
Board hearing is August 17th at 7 PM. That's today.
Okay. All right. Okay, so yeah, it's perfectly reasonable. If anybody wants to hold off on this, but we're in the middle of the vote, so Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
I'm going to abstain too, Elaine. I don't have it in front of me, and I'm
okay,
with Gary. I'm unclear.
okay. So that leaves us with no recommendation, right?
Well, you didn't vote yet, Elaine.
Hmm?
You didn't vote.
Oh, I vote aye, so it's 2 in favor, 2 abstaining, so
202.
202. And the last one is the small lot bylaw that Ryan created. It's probably gonna be. I remember sitting through things about this 20 years ago, similar kind of thing. Okay, Article 18 is it's called the affordable housing lots. I'm gonna go to the explanation. Sarah, have you had a chance to read this?
No, I haven't. I was trying to sort of read it as it went by. I think I just flipped through, but I didn't read it carefully.
And you get back up just a little bit. I think the key here is this is for lots that have been created prior to 2022. So it's not, you can't create lots under this bylaw going forward, small lots. And the number were very limited that were buildable.
Right, okay, here we go.
Containing less than 10,000 square feet of upland may be constructed upon.
So these are undersized lots, so affordable lot definition is not less than 10,000 square feet. Can build an affordable dwelling unit, a one family. Does that mean one
How
bedroom?
are they dealing with Board of Health requirements on this? Does anybody know? Because on less than 10,000 square feet, you could have a hard time getting a septic and well if you're not in a town water area.
Right. I mean, that's, this one is special permit. This, the less than 10,000 square feet is the first one affordable lot by right?
Go down to the chart, Elaine.
Permitted. It's permitted. And except in the National Seashore, of course, and the ones that are under 10,000 square feet are by special permit. So that would have to go through
Oh, I see. Okay.
all the hoops. I think it's worth a try. So I would vote to recommend Article 18. Is there a second? No, okay. What are, so feelings are not sure, need more information? We do have one more meeting before town meeting, so if people want to go to the hearing or hear more, we can take 17 and 18 up again in September, and just it can be announced at town meeting. These will only be announced at town meeting anyway, I believe. So
That
Um,
sounds good.
I'll withdraw
Yeah,
my,
Sounds
I'll
good.
with- I'll
That might
withdraw-
be prudent, Elaine.
Yeah.
I'll withdraw my recommendation for Article 18 and even suggest that maybe we take up Article 17 again in September. Okay. Great. Any more questions about all this? Okay, stop the screen share. All right. The next is recommendation to the ZBA for 95 Lawrence. We did send in a letter of support. We got an email from Rebecca Ruffley indicating they were looking for a recommendation. They didn't say from the Housing Authority. I think they said from the trust and the local housing partnership. So, I mean, I feel like our letter is fine. They sent the ZBA application from POA and I read through it. And aside from maybe getting more specific about some of the things they're doing in a recommendation, I'm not sure we have to change that.
Can I ask Harry a question, Elaine?
Of course. if you say
Harry,
so.
At the trust meeting, we were going to get in touch with Rebecca, see if we really needed another from either the trust or the partnership or for that matter, the housing authority. Did you ever hear back from anybody?
A couple of things happened. First, I neglected to put it on the agenda. And then second, I realized that we had actually done it at the July 11th meeting. And so I didn't think we needed to do it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm in the process of cleaning up my email this morning, and I was going to email Chris Bates and make sure she had the July 11th letter.
So if you find differently, we have another meeting.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Let us know. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At the first ZBA hearing that night, Sharon Inger announced they had received a lot of letters, but they were waiting until their last meeting. I mean, I think the meeting when they were going to maybe make the recommendation to have all those letters presented. So I think we addressed it just fine. So if we hear anything different for our September meeting, we still would have time to do a new letter. The grant for the housing production plan, the small working group of myself and Sharon Will-Agger and Harry and Rebecca Ruffley are going to meet with our consultants on the 25th of August to hopefully set up a timeline and get started. And that's all I have to say about that. And the next buy down round, Gary, do you have any more?
Oh, I think we're waiting for CDP to confirm
Mhm.
the dates that we will open the grant round and make an award. Do I misremember that?
No, I think you're right. I did get a call from someone about it, and it's also the second time I've gotten a similar call. And I don't think something like this would fit into the buy down, but I'm wondering if there's any other way to help address such a thing where local people who own a home separate, divorce, and one person wants to buy the other person out, but they don't have enough money to do that. I had a call asking if there was any way the buy down could fit into that kind of situation.
Elaine?
Yeah.
There actually is language in the DHCD regs defining what a first-time home buyer is.
Mhm,
There is a special circumstance for divorce.
mhm,
So I don't know the circumstances of the people that are calling, but
yeah.
depending on how long they have been, I don't know about separated, but how long they have been divorced,
Mhm.
they may or may not qualify.
Yeah, I suppose it would make sense to ask the CDP to look into how something like this could potentially
Right.
fit into the buy down thing. But it's not an uncommon situation, as I've heard over the years. And, these are local year-round people that have work and want to stay. So it'd be great to figure out a source that could could be helpful. The Housing Angels event was a great community event. From ticket sales, we raised close to $5,500, and Gary has since deposited donations close to $2,000.
Actually, more,
More.
Elaine, close now to in excess of $3,000.
That's really wonderful. And Sarah, thank you for supporting our request to William Ravis. They donated $500, as did the Cape Cod 5. Harry, when I filled out the application, I told them I was the person in charge of the project with my email, so I'm sorry that you ended up with it, but
So can we talk about a few things related to the donations? Elaine?
yeah.
Okay, so the donations are going to the trust. Richard has been doing the thank yous for the trust or the Housing Authority, Richard?
Well, everybody.
Gary, I sent you guys an email in June about the fact that we're running down on cards.
Right.
A, and B, it has, I signed for you from the local housing partnership and Elaine from the Housing Authority. And that needs to be somehow revised
Right.
to reflect that it's coming from the trust. And while I take some liberties with your signature and Elaine's, I would never do that with Harry's. So,
So maybe we could, all right, Richard, how about this?
but Gary, let me just say this. I have enough cards to probably cover when I get home the August contributions.
Okay, so shall we, Harry? I guess we can't put it on the agenda for the next trust meeting, or do you want to just continue and we'll add you to the thank yous and produce some more?
I think just adding me would be fine, thank you.
Okay, so Richard, if we need to order some more thank yous,
Yeah.
maybe we
Okay.
just change them to include the trust, and it should be a thank you for the donation to either the trust or to Housing and Wellfleet.
I think it has to say the Wellfleet Affordable Housing Trust, and I think it does say that, actually.
I think it does. The problem, Elaine, is that some of the checks come in with the Housing Authority on it.
Mhm.
Um,
This has to be clear. The check should be made to
Right.
Wellfleet Affordable
Wellfleet
Housing
Affordable
Trust.
Housing
Yeah,
Trust.
yeah. I like our little card. I think it's really
Right, no, I do too, yeah.
for most donations. I think bigger ones, a letter, like $25,000, $10,000
Right,
deserves maybe a letter we could have read. But I like the little card. So when you get back, Richard, let's take a look at it and think about getting some more.
okay,
Yeah, and I think Thompson's, we can go down there and they can clean it up and move it around and get it the way we want it.
and I did put copies of the new donations in the drawer when you get back, Richard.
Okay, all right.
A couple other things on the donations. Harry, we still don't have any idea of how much money we have, which we are beginning to spend. I asked Nick, and he referred me to Lisa, and I know you've had some conversation with her, and I didn't want to send out another email. I wondered if you had heard anything.
Yeah, I have not. I am concerned about it because so far we've been spending based on the
Yeah.
$500,000 from the 2021 town meeting and the smaller grant from 2022, but we don't have any handle on the balance in the old housing trust or an accurate list of donations. And we have a statutory obligation to be audited every year.
Yeah.
And I just sent you an email that says all this, by the way.
Oh,
I did talk to Charlie Sumner about that and asked whether it would be included in the town's audit. And he said it would, but I think we're a year past that now. So I think I really need to talk to Rich Waldo about this because it's really getting to be a problem and we need some solution.
Right. I completely agree, Harry. We're starting to spend money and we need to have an accounting of both the receipts coming in and the amount going out. So
Okay.
I'll defer to you on that, and
Okay. Yes.
then I'm happy to create some kind of accounting report once we have a starting balance
Okay. Great.
on that. The last one, Harry, I tried to do the Cape Cod 5 one, but it asked for your email
Okay.
and the password, so I'm afraid you'll have to do it.
I'll take care of that.
Thank you.
Can I just chime in here with one thing? And this is a transition. My sending out of the thank you notes is just the sending out of the thank you notes. While for over the years I kept track of dollar amounts, never did I think I was doing any accounting in a strict sense of the word. So
Right.
Yeah.
Nor did I expect that you were doing so.
right, okay.
We did give to Lisa and was it Ann? I can't remember the name of the woman that was working on it.
Mary.
Yeah.
Mary.
Merrick Isaac.
Right.
Yeah.
We did give to them copies of donations that we had received over the previous year or so.
And I mean, every donation we got was put into the accounting department with a form. They should have all those deposit forms that we filled out.
Right. They call them a transfer, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. Any-
I'm sorry.
No, anything more about Housing Angels donations, etc.?
Would this be a good time, Elaine, to talk about the housing insert,
Or
do you have that later?
I was having it later when we did project updates in the trust, talking because it'll be the trust. But I'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sent you back one this morning.
Yep. I wanted to just jump back to buy down real quick because we're waiting for CDP to get the figures for the maximum house prices for this year. So it will be interesting to see what those are. There have been a few houses that have sold for, in the $500,000 or a little under range. And I hate to see them go before we have our buy down, but any update on the market, Sarah?
Not so much. I'm trying to think of what things have sold under 500, Elaine.
I thought I saw one that had been on the market for quite a while. I can't remember where it was. I thought I saw two different things.
Really?
But
That would
including some of the condos that.
Yes,
should-
yes. I think
or
that
the cottage.
condos are going to be a key to this if we can, keep them in a reasonable range.
Gary.
I note that next Wednesday is the CPC meeting with Rich Waldo to help try to resolve the outstanding CPA dollars. And that's at 9 o'clock. If we're going to, and I think we should, meet with CDP to resolve some of these questions, maybe we could make it 10:30 or.
Oh, to have it's okay.
Right, on the 24th, right.
Okay.
So we haven't met with them for a few weeks, so.
Right. Yeah, I'll see if we can.
We've got a number of outstanding issues, yeah.
Okay. All right. The governor's appointee position is next. It's basically no longer a governor's appointee position. It will be appointed by the select board because it's been over 120 days since the vacancy, and the state chose not to act on the application that was sent in. So Ryan Curley asked me, he's looking for, for us to fill out the board. I know that the person who submitted their application to the state is still very interested. But I don't know if, Gary, they might be ending up on the partnership.
Oh, but we would defer if you you were first, we were,
Yeah.
just building on their interest.
Yeah, I mean,
But Elaine, do you feel comfortable nominating the person who wasn't acted on?
well, I do. I mean, Sarah Peak's office got the general information from the governor's office that they wanted us to look for someone who had been a year-round resident for a much longer period of time. So I don't know if we want to take that to heart at all. I know there is another person in town who has expressed a lot of interest and has been here for a long time. Ryan gave me a list of a bunch of young people he thought that might be interested. I don't know, Sarah, did you ever hear from Jill? Oh, you're muted, Sarah.
Sorry, every time the pets make noise, I mute. I did actually follow up with Jill, and she said that while she, would love to serve and has this at the forefront, she just feels like she can't take on another commitment right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I almost feel if, Gary, if that person is interested in the partnership, that might be a better fit. And we do look for someone that might more fit the profile the state was hoping for.
I invited her to the meeting of the partnership next Thursday, the 25th, to see what her interest would be. So maybe think about it for a week or so, and we can just make some decision.
Okay, yeah, I feel like somebody with that kind of interest joining the partnership could be a really good thing at this point. And as the trust, takes on more of the things that the housing authority was doing, the housing authority is sort of morphing a little bit. I do love the idea of getting another young person on the housing authority, if possible.
Have we ever asked Lara Henry?
She's going to join the partnership, right?
Oh, good.
Possibly. She's
Again,
interested.
we're talking about it, but if you think that's a possibility,
I think the skills that she has would really suit the partnership, but it would be great either way. Yeah, I mean, we could reach out to her, let her choose.
Sure.
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, she'd be great. So I can send out an email to her. I think Sharon would be very disappointed if Laura didn't end up on the partnership. Anyway, it's a good problem to have, but we'd really like to get our numbers filled out. Okay, the project updates, 95 Lawrence Road. Unfortunately, they missed a ZBA. They missed getting information to the ZBA in time for a hearing last week. So now their next hearing, I guess, is on the 25th with the ZBA, and it'll be the traffic and what else? I can't remember. So the next meetings for 95 Lawrence with the ZBA are August 25th, September 8th, and then on the 22nd is hopefully the meeting when they'll really make their decision. So it's been pushed back a couple of weeks, but having people there, having support there is really helpful. Maurice's, I think everybody's pretty up to date on that. Any questions about Maurice's? Yes.
The exchange of emails this morning about the deed writer.
Yeah.
I just would feel much more comfortable if either town council or somebody approach DHCD to get the correct deed writer.
I totally agree. I do not know what we ourselves can do I think we can't create a deed writer that would work.
Right, we can't, and is that, maybe I'll ask Harry, is that town council that would, is it incorporated into the town warrant article by reference?
Yes, I believe it is. It's in Article 7, which is the CPA one. And
Right.
since this is a select board project, I think it's entirely appropriate that town council
So
provide services.
maybe we tell Ryan that we have a meeting
Yeah.
with him this afternoon
Mhm.
I mean,
Right.
that's what I wanted to tell him. You know, I've searched and asked
Right.
MHP and have not found one that relates to what we're doing.
and the examples you gave, which in the life of deed writers is a long time, or 20 years ago.
Mhm.
Uh,
Right,
so-
that was all I could find.
No, I'm not saying that, right? I didn't find anything else.
Right.
So,
Harry, could I ask you if there's a difference between a deed writer and a covenant? And if it looks like the CPA CPA legislation needs as a deed writer as opposed to a covenant?
I don't think that there's any real difference. I mean, effectively, the owner of property can sign a document giving somebody else, the right to a restriction. And whether that's, in fact, it probably is better in a deed, in a separate restriction document than in the deed writer, than in the deed language itself, because it stands out more.
Mhm,
But they have the same effect.
mhm, okay. Okay, Freeman Ave, next update. We're hoping that Rebecca can polish it off and hopefully get it in the central register. She said after town meeting, she would hopefully have the time to get to that. And and sort of related, we were hoping that might be able to get out because of Habitat's other project in town, and this is a potential wonderful habitat project, but that's still not that. We still don't have the final decision from that court case either. Any updates from the local housing partnership, Gary?
do you want me to do
Sure,
the insert now?
sure.
So we had great success, I think it was 2 years ago, 2021, with a tax insert for housing. I can't remember the exact number, but I think we received in excess of $50,000. Oh, Elaine, I sent you one where the corrections are all consolidated.
Whoops. Oh, okay. What can I make you co-host and you can share?
I sent it to you. You should have it in your email. Anyway, so the idea was, should we put in a fall tax insert this year? And it's always, we don't want to overstay our welcome in terms of asking for community support, but it might be building on a lot of success out of the Housing Angels program, as well as the town meeting in September. There it is. So here is what we have proposed. Take a minute, read it over, and give us your feedback.
Gary, if the town votes for Maurice's, we could try to fit it in there after the fact, but
Right.
there's not much room.
Well,
Gary, I would say one other thing here. Memory serves. I think we got a nice response to this from non-resident taxpayers.
correct.
Mhm.
So a lot of the thank yous went out of state or to other parts of the state. So if for no other reason, it may be worthwhile to do it. No other reason than that, it may be worthwhile to do it.
Right. This is a no-cost way for us to reach out to the 70% or so of the homes that are non-resident.
Yeah.
So, and we did get a good response to that. And there's also, in our age group, quite a few of them were the mandatory disbursement from the IRAs. So that's another one that this sort of timing would fit into.
At the trust, we approved the concept of doing this. We won't have another meeting in time for the trust to really look at this before we should send it to the select board, I think. 'Cause they did approve one the other night.
Right. I actually asked Rebecca, and there was none on the agenda, and then poof, there was one. So there are only approximately 3 that get approved. So I thought we should get our request in.
Mhm.
I did send an email back to Gary saying that it was okay with me.
Okay,
So any other, and honestly, the reality is if Maurice's or some other, we found some other things, we could probably change it before it went to the printer, as long as we got it approved, at least in concept, at the select board. So I'll present this, I'll submit this to Rebecca, if you agree, Rebecca Eldridge, and I don't know if do we need to vote on it?
I don't think so. The trust voted and it's money's going to the trust. It's just kind of letting people know it's happening and
Right.
getting any feedback.
So if anybody sees anything there, language you'd like to change or anything else, let us know.
Thanks, Gary.
Sure.
Gary had an incredibly productive rainy morning yesterday.
You might,
Whenever I see rain, I say, yeah, Gary's at work.
if you could squeeze it in on 95 Lawrence Road, new energy efficient, affordable year-round rentals,
I thought about that, yeah.
if it'll fit.
I can certainly try, Harry.
If it doesn't fit, don't worry about it, but
Can I ask you a question? What if we just took out the word road and just put 95 Lawrence?
I
Fine.
think people know what that will be, yeah.
So that's one solution.
Yep.
If it doesn't fit. And do you want me to put Maurice's on this or not?
I think you're gonna run into some timing problems by when the selectmen have to approve this and so forth, assuming the tax bills go out on time.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe not this time, next
Yeah.
time, next year.
Yeah.
And remember that even though town meeting approves it on, is it the 10th of September? The election isn't until the 20th.
Right,
So it has to go through that process as well.
Mhm.
okay, great. Trust is next. Harry's here, but I don't want to put him on the spot. I'll say that I think the one of the big things we did at our most recent meeting was allocate a little over $40,000 to promote the creation of ADUs with $10,000 no interest forgivable loans, and hoping to do this through the Community Development Partnership through their new ADU program. And we'll be approaching them to find out if they would be interested in administering and monitoring it. We really wanted to do something to kind of bump up the interest and about our ADU bylaw and the possibilities. Harry, I don't know if you saw, I was wondering if this has to be an RFQ situation or most of the money isn't being paid directly to the Community Development Partnership, but will we have to do a more formal sort of RFQ scope of services?
I don't know, and maybe I should take a look at the septic loan program and see how that is run. I don't know that they were issuing, requests for proposals for septic loans.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be great if we didn't have to, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is
Speaking of septic loans.
Elaine, who is administering the septic loan program? How does one do that?
I don't know.
I was just thinking we could maybe simplify the process and include the ADU construction loans or support loans that we're proposing.
With the septic loan?
Yeah, yeah. So a person, whether they do one or both, it seems that administration would be very similar, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's the county septic loan program, but are you talking about the IA septic loan program?
The towns, who is administering the towns program?
Board of Health, maybe?
I don't know. Yeah.
I emailed Hillary to find out how you find out about it. And when people apply, they get told about it, but there was a tax insert, she said, about it. I
Yeah.
don't remember seeing it. I don't have a copy of it, but it's not on the town website anywhere.
Elaine, isn't that the one they just approved?
I don't know. Yeah, they didn't show the text of what they were approving in the packet. So yeah, you got to be on the inside to know about it.
Okay.
Well, we can find out about who's administering the septic loan.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to confuse it.
No. Yeah. Okay, Richard, do you have a report from the home consortium?
I was at, we had a meeting this morning. It was brief. There was Rennie put forward a preview of the consortium's annual performance evaluation project, and simply summarized over the course of the last fiscal year of July 1, 21 to 6/30/22. There were projects supported that resulted or will result in 187 units, all under 60% of area median income. Median income. So it was in her view, a good year, and the amount of money that's going to be going to support projects is probably not going to be as rich in the coming year or two, because there are a lot of loan repayments that have come in that they don't see carrying into the next couple of years. And we had a report from Shannon Holst from the county on, she was a floodplain specialist, and specifically reporting on floodplain, helping people with floodplain insurance. There are a lot of small A affordable units that are in floodplain areas, and there's kind of being, insurance companies are taking a second look at floodplain insurance, and they're going to work with folks on making sure that what coverage they have is appropriate, and that they don't wind up with insurance expenses that price them out of their homes. So those were the two big items, and as I said, it was a brief meeting. It was about a half hour.
Okay, great. I did sit in on the ARPA bidders conference yesterday. A lot of information from Barnstable County, and they currently have a round for smaller projects, which are $100,000 to $500,000. And then the next round after that is going to be strictly for water quality and housing. So I am hoping that our people at POA CDP are looking at that, and that might also benefit Maurice's. I should have put Payne Hollow on the updates, but I'm updating our projects. So I had a meeting yesterday with Ted Malone and Rich Waldo and Rebecca Ruffley, where Ted is saying that the current estimate for getting the infrastructure road and drainage and stuff in is between anywhere from $650,000 to $1.2 million. So he was asking the town if the town would consider doing a one-stop application for these funds. And Rich and Rebecca said they would think about what the town could possibly do. That's a lot for 8 units. This is it's really a lot of money, but that's where it stands right now. I don't-
Elaine,
Yeah,
we were asked at the FinCom meeting what the cost to produce a unit of affordable housing is. At Payne Hollow, if you take into the infrastructure plus the cost of construction,
Mhm.
plus whatever other costs have already gone into it, what do you think that number is?
well,
Cost per unit.
I'm trying to remember in recent meetings, I think that people were starting to say, I mean, the pro formas for Lawrence, for 95 Lawrence had a figure, I think, of up to 400 and some odd $1,000, but I thought recent meetings were saying 650. We should try to,
That's what, not this morning's meeting, but the last meeting is 650 per unit is now an acceptable estimate.
Mhm. Yes, indeed. Yep. Yeah, so
Acceptable is the wrong word.
Yeah.
Is a figure that people are accepting as what it's going to take.
Mhm. Yep. Okay. I think we've run through everything. Thank you so much for being here. Our next meeting is September 1st. Send me any agenda items you'd like to see on there.
Elaine, based upon our attempt to get the last one paid, we should talk about the down payment assistance program and funding, and whether we want to turn it over to the trust, and whether we can actually turn it over to the trust, or we have to expend all the money.
Okay. All right.
I have to run, folks. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
well, thank you.
Soon.
Harry's gone, but I thank him for coming to the rescue. I
Good.
made all these arrangements to get the meeting started, and
August is so hard.
it is. Yeah.
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second? So move.
Yeah.
Aye. Thank you all very, very much. Have a good
Bye,
one.
everybody. Be
Bye.
well.
Bye.
Yeah, Richard.
Mhm.
Bye.
Bye.